Gibbo presents.
So let's commence part 2 of the interview. Let's touch on our mutual love,
Sound clash.
sound clashes, and sound system culture.
Good.
When I asked you if you'd like to do this interview, you said, Gibbo, one thing I want to talk about is Canadian sounds. They are highly underrated. So I was a little surprised when you said that, but let's get into some more depth about that very topic.
When you look at all of the international clashes that are happening, there's not a single Canadian sound in any of them. Why is that? And I honestly believe it's because internationally, nobody rates the Canadian sounds. Maybe even locally, people don't rate them. People don't say, yo, we have world-class champion clash sounds that are clashing constantly. We have them. I don't understand it, man. It's the most confusing thing I've ever seen. Because you have King Turbo, probably the most recognized sound from the entire country of Canada. They split, they have their differences, but they're still one of the most powerful sounds in the world. We need to see them back on the clash scene. We need to see that. Super Fresh, one of the baddest songs from Canada. Red Flame with my cousin Lindo P. I don't even know if Lindo still play that song. He didn't play a bugger song. Maybe that's the last song he played, but he's just talented in himself. Black Reaction. All these sounds that people know of as champion sounds. We don't hear from them at all. And I don't know what's going on up there in Canada. So this is my message to Canada. First of all you young sounds, I want to hear more, man. You know which sound I really got into lately? And I posted the mix. Some people start diss the mix and say, yo, them no want to hear this bag of foolishness. A sound called Don Rankin. And the reason why I like the mix so much is because they went from like Studio One straight forward to some dancehall on this mix CD. And on the Studio One side, them juggle like a Studio One song. And then right behind it comes a dub plate on a Studio One rhythm. And I love that. That's just what it should be. And then they progressed it up to eventually mixing juggling some dancehall. But Don Rankin, as of right now, is my favorite Canadian sound just off of mix CD. Rebel Tone, Wake Up, where that? You got all these sounds up there, man. And I don't believe that these are losing sounds. I believe these sounds could actually win major clashes. So we just got to figure out why it is that they're not in them. And so that's my question to Canada. That's my question to the promoters across the world. What's going on? Are you calling these guys up and they're turning you down? Are they not clashing no more? Are they whack now? Do I not know what's up? Because I think that those are good sounds. They're just not getting the opportunity. So, I just threw that question out there. That's why I wanted to talk about it, man, because Canada has been one of the leading dancehall places for decades. And they've got some of the most, underrated sounds, and they got some of the best talent. And so Canada, wake up. That's what I'm saying. Wake up, get involved.
So you feel the Canadian sounds are doing enough to promote themselves and put themselves out there? They're just getting ignored by promoters outside of their homelands.
I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying whatever the reasons are that we're not hearing anything major from a Canadian sound in a big clash. Let's wake up. Red alert. Let's get back to seeing you guys locally clash each other as well as get across the border and murder some sounds, man. You guys are too good and too talented to just be up there, like that. So that's just my PSA.
Quick shout out to Rebel Tone, who did win a clash last weekend in Canada against two other Canadian sounds.
He beat Contracts and the next song
Twin Star, I believe.
Yeah. Which was both two good sounds. Contracts name kind of different, but it was a good clash overall. I liked it.
And also big up to Super Fresh, who are supposed to be involved in March Madness in New York, but I've heard that clash has been postponed or pushed back. So watch this space to see if that comes off or not.
I hope that does happen. See, I didn't know that. Super fresh, big up. Let's do it.
If we head south of the border to the USA.
American sounds, yeah.
Yeah. Who are Walshy Fire's top 5 American Clash sounds as of right now?
Man, number one sound right now is Rhythm Force from my part of town. 305. I'm from Carroll City. You already know. But you know what I'm saying? They from South Miami. So we have to big them up. And I think that they are the most talented sound to come from Florida in a long time. And of course, they're an original sound from Florida. You know, they're an original sound from the 80s in Miami. Big up to Everton. I've known him my whole life. Big him up. But man, what talent those two guys have on the sound. You know, X and Frost. They just taking it so serious. And so that would be my number one sound. Of course, if you know Walshy Fire from dancehallminded.com and you know me from dancehallreggae.com when it first started, you know my name was LP Walsh, which is my real name, Leighton Paul, but it was also because LP is my favorite sound in America. So LP still are one of the biggest sound. King Addies right now with that team is a problem. I think you told me that they're coming up in a clash soon on one of those clashes. You know, and I would actually pick them to win because they are a problem right now. Addies is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're taking it so serious. Who else would I rate? You said 5, right? All right, that's 3. Cosmic, even though they didn't do much over the last couple months, maybe the last year, they're still a great sound and they've done a lot. And you know who else, man? You got to say big up to Innocent Sound. That would be my 5th choice, you know? And if I had to say 6, I would say Young Hawk. So that's going to be an interesting clash with Innocent and Young Hawk, you know, as thing. But Innocent too, Nasheen, he's taking it very serious, man. He ain't come out here to lose. You know what I'm saying? So when you see these guys clashing, yo, you need to interview Nasheen about this whole beef with him and Mataran. I want to know what the hell that's about. Nasheen, big up yourself. I haven't talked to you in a minute. Mataran, big up yourself too. I talked to you in Montreal for a couple hours, but I didn't know this was happening. So find them, Gibbo. I'll find out what. But those would be my top 5 right there. Top 6, I think I said.
You said Rhythm Force was your number 1 there. Who would you favour, Rhythm Force versus Addies 1-on-1?
I can't call it. That's a great clash. That's actually what I want to see. Rhythm Force is, I think, have done what they need to do. They've taken the clashes that were on the C and B level to work up to an A clash. They're a contender. They deserve to get to that ring. So good luck to both of them on that clash, man. I wouldn't even call it. I think that's a great clash.
Shout out to Andrew Digital as well. He's been telling me for a minute, Gibbo, you need to pay attention to Rhythm Force. I'm telling you, they are a sound to be reckoned with. And you also endorsing them there. So Rhythm Force.
I'm big up Digital. I knew Digital. I met Digital when I was living in New York in 1999. He had a shop on Brooklyn in the flea market, and you know, me and him used to sit on a Reason About Sound for hours, man, and to see all the money, energy, and time he's put into Sound Clash and making sure that it didn't die. Him, Tech Nine, Irish and Chin, all the promoters that just never gave up. Big up, big up, big up. Yeah, man. Digital. If he says it, believe it, man. For real.
Something else I want to ask you about is innovation in the Clash arena and the introduction of new ideas and concepts. Do you feel things have become stale and that we need to change things up in order for the scene to survive and flourish? Or is a Sound Clash a tried and tested concept that's been working for decades and that isn't in any needs of alteration?
I mean, everything has to change, but it doesn't have to change drastically. So I'll say, yeah, change is good, but if you keep it in the old school format, 2 sounds, rounds, and if, you know, it gets to tune for tune, then it goes there, it's just as vibesy. I don't think you really need to to force idea changes on people. But at the same time, if you want to keep it fresh, nothing's wrong with that either, man. I support both formats, old school and the one with changes. I support anything that has to do with clash. Like a lot of the times, you see people on the internet and they're like, "Yo, I just hardcore clash." I'm like, I don't understand that. You know, why? Well, I understand that, but I don't understand why you have to go so hard into bashing a sound clash format that has something different going on for it, you know. And I have to give my hats off to Chin and Irish and Chin and the crew for what's it called again? What was it called again? Reloaded? What was it?
World Clash Resets.
Reset. And I spoke to him personally, and I told him, "Yo, World Clash is such a big name brand that you can't leave it, but work with the reset because it's entertaining, and it's something that every person that before the clash was like, yo, fuck with this, that clash this, but now I support the team. Had to, in my opinion, eat their words because it was entertaining, and it did well. And they're just on the internet, like I said before, they probably weren't going to support it anyways. They probably don't live in New York, you know, or if they do live in New York, they just don't go out. They just sit all day long and this. And you couldn't deny the fact that that was a great clash. You can't deny the fact that Sky Juice won off of entertainment. You can't deny the fact that Renaissance and Addies and LP and Soul Supreme all played good rounds. And it was an all-around great clash. So I think both formats are good. I big up both formats. I support the people who support the dancehall, put their money in somebody's hand, say, here's my $40, walk into the clash. And if they enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Do you have any ideas which you would like to see tried out or that you feel would make clashes more interesting?
I do, but I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it because I would like to keep my own clash one day. And I would probably incorporate the ideas that I have. I used to host Guinness Sounds of Greatness Clash, if you remember a couple years ago. And people hated that clash. And they were like, yo, this microwave thing with 10-minute round on, because the TV show was an hour long. So we had to fit the clash into an hour, into 45 minutes if you include commercials. So you had to have a clash with a winner in 45 minutes. And I just can't see how somebody can diss that if it's about clash. Either you love clash or you don't like clash. If you like the 4-hour format, that's great. And I respect you for liking that. But if the 45-minute clash on TV gets exposure to clash, gets fans into it, and gets the sounds and selectors who spend all that money and all that time and energy, if it gets them some exposure, why are you mad at that? Why are you mad at that? And they get a good payday at the end of the day. Why are you mad at that? So I support it all, man. I support everything that has to do with sound clash. It doesn't matter to me. I wouldn't give my ideas though because I'd like to use them one day.
One idea which was introduced by Irish and Chin at World Clash Reset in New York at the end of last year was the inclusion of quote-unquote juggling sounds in a clash. Metro Media, who went on to win the clash, and Renaissance. Around the time of the event, it was thought that Metro Media's win would open up the floodgates and we'd see lots more juggling sounds entering the clash arena. But apart from Safari Sound from Sweden, who I think were already planning to start clashing, this hasn't happened as of yet. Do you think we will see more juggling sounds entering the clash arena? And if you do, which ones do you think are best equipped to make a real impression?
Copper Shot for sure. I mean, if you look at Guinness Sounds of Greatness, that was like half juggling sounds, half clash sounds. And you have Code Red, you have Copper Shot, you have Boom Boom. All of these guys that did well, and they're juggling DJs. So you've got a huge pool to choose from. Of course, everybody keeps saying Black Chiney, Black Chiney, Black Chiney. So I mean, you got many, man. we're down for it too. So it's so many sounds out there that you can choose from. It opens it up, you know.
So are Black Chiney accepting Clash offers as of right now?
I don't think we ever stopped. I don't think we ever stopped. I don't think we ever stopped. The last clash that we had might have been the one where we beat Innocent in Miami. But I don't think we've ever stopped. It's just not the easiest thing to do, and the amount of time that it takes to prepare for a clash, you have to put your life on hold if you want to win. And I definitely am touring way too much to sit down in the studio all day, every single day right now. As much as I don't mind doing it, same thing with Bobby. Bobby lives in Belize now, and Bobby's doing big things in Belize. Like Prime Minister status. Dup's just won another Grammy. And Willie Chin is really the only one left in the streets really like that. Doing cutting the dubs and juggling hardcore with the new members, Brandon Lee and Special K. So we never stopped. It just needs to happen amongst the timeline that it makes sense, because we don't come to lose. We actually, if you know anything about Bobby Chin, he actually has come to hurt your feelings really, really bad, and to embarrass you and to make you extremely upset and to make you feel like you've never been disrespected before on a level that only Bobby Chin can do. It takes time, and it takes money, and you have to sit down and really plan it out. Because hurting somebody's feelings, what I'm saying, is what it's all about for Sound Clash. It's all about destroying a sound. And Bobby Chin is one of the best that ever did that, man. So never stop. We just need to find the time till everybody can come together and make it happen right. And the right stage too, where it would be worth it,
So if Chin called you up next week and he said, look guys, I'm thinking ahead a bit.
Mm-hmm.
October, I'm holding another edition of World Clash Reset in New York, and I want to include Black Chiney on this lineup. If you could arrange things so all of the members were free and had time to prepare for the clash, and if the money was right, that's an event that you would like to be involved in and the rest of Black Chiney would love to be involved in.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I do believe that Chin spoke to Bobby, though, and for some reason I feel like something didn't work out. But much respect to Chin. I spoke to him, and I'd love to, man. I'd love to. I started doing bookings for a lot of sounds too. One of the sounds that I do bookings for now is Waggy T, and I would love to see Waggy T in something like that too. Waggy T doesn't really want to do it, but I work upon it. I sit on a reason with him. And maybe you guys out there on the internet, man, just chime in, tell Waggy, yo, we want to see a clash again, dog. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he'll do it for the fans. But there are a lot of sounds, man. There's a lot of sounds, to choose from for these kinds of things. So if not Black Chiney, for sure, it'll still be an entertaining clash with whoever they get on it.
Waggy T in another clash, that would send the internet crazy, as you said.
And trust me, I'm working on it, man. I would love to see it just as much as a fan. I would love to see it. So, like I said before, let's start some noise. I talked to Waggy. He's not really interested. He has a radio show. He has his residencies. He does very well. And like I said, he'd have to step away from those for a little while to prepare for a clash. So I don't know if he can. I don't know if he even can. But maybe if we get the noise loud enough, so everybody out there just chants Waggy, Waggy, Waggy. And maybe he'll stand up and say, "Yo, let's do it."
Let's touch briefly on a clash that Black Chiney were involved in at the end of last year, the Redbull Culture Clash. It's also an event that you've been involved in as part of Major Lazer in London earlier. Can you describe and compare your two Culture Clash experiences?
Man, they were similar in the sense of being true to that name, Culture Clash, because every single sound is playing a different genre of music, which is just unique. It is what it is, To have one drum and bass crew over there and to have one grime crew over there, and then Channel One player Rockers on Foundation, and then Major Lazer over here, and to have those people choose a win out of that. You know, it is truly a culture clash. My only problem with it is that it's not, in my opinion, it's not worth doing until they can figure out how to actually judge it. What they do is they have a decimal meter thing. And as long as you have that decimal meter thing, you'll never get a good clash. I think that actual clashes have done enough wrong judging to say, yo, hands up is the only way to judge a clash. Noise is not the way to judge a clash, because you have to incorporate boos, you have to incorporate sound, things like horns and stuff like that are just going to be louder than somebody saying yes. But you put your hands in the air and you just cannot, I mean, for the most part, unless it's really close, you can't deny who a winner is. So until the Culture Clash thing does that, you know, I don't think we'll participate again. Because if you remember the one we did in London, man, we brought out Usher, okay? We brought out Johnny Osborne and Usher as our special guest. Usher came out in a song clash to sing on Major Lazer Sound. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, you don't bring sound effect, you don't bring horns and clappers like one of the other groups did. You just get drowned out. There's just no way you can be louder than them, as much as the crowd is yelling for Usher and saying yes. So I think that's what most people that enter that clash, they go, yo, fuck with this. Because the person who wins doesn't win. You know, it's all about who can just be loud as hell. So,
are Red Bull using reggae and dancehall's invention for their own benefit and profit, or are they paying reggae and dancehall the ultimate compliment by using their creation and taking it to a wider audience?
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Why are they using it? Definitely. Come on, man. It's a huge corporation, you know. There's no question. It's all about branding. And, you know, whatever it takes to brand with cool, you know. So in a couple of years, they won't do it anymore because they don't actually love it. They don't actually have real connection to it. They'll just be something else another idea that somebody came up with that's cooler. And then they'll move on to that, you know. So for sure, they're using it. For sure, you know. So whoever doesn't want to be a part of that, I agree with them, man. It's whack. It's kind of whack, you know what I'm saying? In a sense, it's dope in a sense because you get so much different genres of music in one place, and all these sounds bring out an artist, and that's just cool. But it's also whack because it's not for a true winner. It's just for everybody to exercise on a commercial level, whatever it is that they do and play it. So it is what it is, you know.
I need a couple of predictions from you. April the 9th is a huge date in all Soundclash fans' diaries because we have two huge clashes taking place. War in the East in Berlin and the UK Cup Clash in London. So we'll look at War in the East first. The lineup is Cosmic Movements, the defending champions, versus Natural Affair from Telford in the UK, Burn Down Sound from Japan, Warrior Sound from Germany, and last but not least, Zygon International from Trinidad. Who is your pick?
All right, Zygon, big up yourself. Yeah, I'm a friend them. They won in Trinidad over Taurus and I think Excalibur and a few sounds. Bundem is like one of the biggest sounds in Japan right now, and they're doing very well. But again, you know, there's always that language barrier with Japan sounds, so it might not work too well for them, but we'll see. Natural Affair is a good song. And what was the first one you said?
Cosmic Movements.
Like I said, it was in my top 5, but they haven't clashed in a while, so let's hope that they can get everything in order and get into that clash. I'm glad to see them clashing again. But I'm going to pick Warrior Sound.
Warrior Sounds. There we go, coming off a win over Supersonic at the end of last year.
Mattia is like a one-man army right now, man. And he's got something, like, I don't know if he got something to prove. I don't know what it is. But, his preparation for clashes is on a whole other level. So I'm going to go with Mattia and Warrior Sound.
Then on to the returning UK Cup Clash. After 6 years, the event is taking place again in the heart of London's East End. The Troxy is the venue. The lineup is as follows. Defending champions from way out in the country, Bass Odyssey versus King Addies, another sound you mentioned in your top 5 American sounds earlier. Then we have Metro Media, Skyjuice and Oliver, who shocked the world when they won World Clash Reset in New York at the end of last year. Firelinks, Heavy Hammer from Italy, and then the 2 UK sounds. German Nuclear, the reigning winner-takes-all champions from Wolverhampton, and Little Sample from the UK's countryside, Huddersfield. Who do you think takes home the trophy?
Wow, it's a lot of sounds, man. I'm not too familiar with German on Little Sample still, but I wouldn't put it past anyone to do that. But there's something about Bass Odyssey in England that's just it's very strong, especially when you have a lot of actual Jamaicans in the event who are from the country, which most are. It's just like they just link with them, and it's just like tune after tune is a problem. I will say this much: Skyjuice did shock everybody, so Skyjuice could do the same over there, only if he hasn't played a dance in that area or wherever those patrons would come from in a while. Because if you know anything about Skyjuice, it's really going to be the same thing. It doesn't really change much. He's going to take off his shirt. He's going to tell you that he licks nipples, and he's going to tell you that, and he's going to play. The last clash, he played probably most of his biggest tunes. And so therefore, I really don't think that would work again in America. I don't think he'd win another clash on that level in America. But I do believe it would be new to UK, just like how it was a new and shocking thing to America. If he hasn't juggled a dance, if he didn't do a juggling dance recently. If those people saw him do a juggling dance recently, they know what he did to get it forward. And they know, and they'll see the same thing at that clash, and then they'll go, okay, I saw it already. So if he hasn't played a dance in a long time, Skyjuice is a problem. He's a problem. He's a problem, man. He's too confident. And then, of course, Addies, I'm going to do them thing right now. So this one, since you are asking for an answer, I'm going to go with the Billboard sound. And I'm going to say King Addies.
Why do you rate King Addies' new team, Kingpin and A1, and also Swaggy Don,
and
so highly? Well, yes, yep. Killer Boo, but Killer Boo was on the sound for a little while before those 3 members were taken on. Why do you rate them so highly? Why do you hold them in such?
Because of their passion, man. Those guys are serious, and they're young, man. As we say in Miami, they're jits. And when these jits come out, and they come to fuck shit up, you gotta give them their props, man, and to understand a box so deep and to play it so well, and, for the MC to be so confident, and have some great showings, even though they had some losses, but they took those losses and learned from them, and I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor. Is like this. All right, let me give you an example of what I said. Boxing. We all love boxing. Or track. Anytime you have somebody that constantly trains and competes, go against somebody who hasn't competed in a while, the person who trains and competes constantly is usually the winner. And that's how I'm judging my winners is, Addies right now have probably been one of the most clashing sounds of 2013, of which me and you, Gibbo, we're going to finish up this list of the clashes of 2013, and we'll be able to actually see which sounds were the most active, of which I think Addies is going to be, up there. And so that's why I give them the win, just out of straight practice and out of straight competing on a high level, which can only make you better, which can only make you prepared for the next fight. So that's why I say Addies, and that's why I rate them, because they clash consistently.
I think that is a great point to bring this interview to a close. Walshy, I can't thank you enough for your time this evening. I know you should be sleeping right now. You're getting ready to tear down Reykjavik, the Icelandic capital, this evening.
Yeah,
Big
man.
up, enough respect. We will chat again soon.
Yeah, man. One love, and big up yourself, Gibbo. And thank you so much, Gibbo, for doing this work you're doing, man. I can't say it enough. You're a great asset to dancehall. And these interviews that you're doing, I'm sure they'll go down in history as some of the best things to happen for this decade in dancehall, man. So keep doing them. And everybody out there, keep supporting Gibbo. And big up yourself, and big up to everybody that took the time to listen to this long-ass interview. All right, Gibbo. Bless up.
Gibbo.